As sax players, we can't always practice whenever we want. Whether it's a baby sleeping in the next room or noise restrictions in our apartment building, sometimes we just can't make any noise, no matter how beautifully we might play. But what you might not know is that there are some incredibly powerful things we can do without a sax in our hands that can still have massive benefits to our sax playing. In fact, I'd even go so far to say that if you're not doing at least a couple of these things already, you could be seriously holding back your progress on the instrument. So without further ado, here's 4 simple things you can do without playing your sax to still massively improve your playing. Coming in at number 4 is intonation. And I can already hear you saying, but how are we supposed to practice intonation without actually blowing our instrument? And that's because for most of us, when we think about practicing intonation, we think about playing long notes with a tuner. Now, whilst that is still a very important exercise, it's really only addressing half the problem. Why? Because what we're actually doing here is reacting to what the tuner is telling us, whether we're playing sharp, flat, or in tune. But what happens when we're in the middle of a performance and there's no tuner? Will our ears be trained enough to pick up that we're out of tune? And if they can they go that one step further and actually tell us if we're playing sharp or flat? This is one of those skills that a lot of saxophone players really struggle with. One simple, inexpensive tool you can use to train this skill is actually an app called InTune. Right now, it's only available on iOS, but fingers crossed for an Android release sometime soon. This app was developed by students at Wittenberg University, and it's actually a simple game that plays 2 notes, one after the other. You simply swipe up if you think the second note is sharper than the first, or swipe down if you think it's flatter. With increasing levels of difficulty and points awarded after every correct guess, you can easily track your progress and watch your pitch discrimination improve every time you play. This is such a simple and surprisingly fun game. If you even give it 2 minutes of your attention every day, I think you'll be quite shocked at just how quickly your ears will improve in just a few weeks. And number 3 is the rather massive topic of rhythm. It seems so simple, but just developing a really strong internal pulse is actually one of the most challenging and fundamental skills a musician can have. One of my favorite exercises that I like to teach on this topic is to set up a click on your metronome, turn down the volume so it's relatively quiet, then just try clapping along. If you can still hear the metronome click as you clap, then you're actually not clapping on the center of the beat. It's more likely that you're actually clapping just slightly ahead or behind the beat. When all you can hear is the sound of your clap and no metronome click, that's when you know that you're right in the pocket. Now, the secret to getting this exercise right isn't about trial and error. It's about subdividing as you clap. So as you're clapping quarter notes, you're thinking about eighth notes. Da 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 da. These subdivisions are the connective tissue that keeps you in time and links one beat to the next. Try it and see how you go. Okay, quick side note guys, this video is sponsored by you guys. Whether you're starting the saxophone from scratch or you're an intermediate level player looking to get into jazz, blues and R&B and unleash your full potential, check out our website at saxtuition.com. On there, you'll find some incredible courses I've developed to help you get the most out of your saxophone journey and give you all the essential tips, teachings, songs and techniques to really conquer this instrument. Thousands of students all across the globe have already learned with us, so head on over to saxtuition.com because I'm sure there'll be something to help you. At number 2 is a practice technique that really doesn't feel like it should work, but somehow totally does. It's air sax. Now let's be clear, you can't work on your actual saxophone technique by playing air sax. But what you can do with surprising efficiency is practice a song just by going through the motions and pretending like you're playing it. Think about it. If you're looking at a page of sheet music, even without your saxophone, you can still read the notes and the rhythms. You can still make the motions for the fingerings, and either out loud or just in your head, you can sing the song. By singing the notes you're pretending to play, you're actually connecting your ears to the page. You're taking an abstract concept, which is looking at musical notation, and turning it into a piece of music. The simple fact that you're not relying on your saxophone to do this for you is a tremendous skill in of itself. There's a reason why sight singing is something students are often tested on in a music degree and why it's such an essential skill for any musician. So don't feel awkward to practice your air sax every now and then. It can still be incredibly beneficial. And finally, at number 1 is the single most important thing you can do outside of actually playing your sax, and that's listening. Now let's face it, at some point we all got into the saxophone because we loved the sound. And the thing that I love most about the sax is how much we as players can bend and shape the tone to our desire. But so often I encounter students who love the sound of the saxophone, yet they don't have a strong concept of what or who they want to sound like. And if you can name a player that you aspire to sound like, what is it exactly about their playing that you're trying to emulate? The reality is, if we don't have this musical imprint etched into our brain when it comes to actually playing the sax, or even just making decisions about equipment like reeds and mouthpieces, we'll always be flying blind. That's why we need to practice active listening. That is, listening to another sax player for the purpose of musical growth. When we're actively listening, we should be listening to their tone, their inflections, their vibrato, and their rhythmic placement. And we should be taking note of all the things that we want to channel ourselves. The central idea here is that our playing becomes a tapestry of all our saxophone influences, and in doing so, becomes our own unique sound. Now, if you're still new to all this, I highly recommend downloading my free handy PDF guide on active listening, which you can use to uncover some of the secrets of your favorite saxophone players. To download it, simply use the link on screen or in the description below, enter your email address, and I'll send it to you for free. Well, thanks again everybody for watching this video. Hopefully you took away some valuable tips next time you get stuck in silence and can't play your saxophone. Don't forget to download that PDF guide, link below. And as always, if you've got any questions about anything from this video, please leave them in the description down below. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to the Saxtuition YouTube channel. I really do appreciate the support. And of course, I'll see you all again soon.